So, along with Trump comes what? Along with Trump comes that group of crazed petty bourgeois, and I'm sticking with that. The people who were for Ross Perot a quarter century ago are the ones who are for that. Those groups, those social classes, are the ones that support Trump today. I don't see that as blue collar. No, I see that as petty bourgeois. The stockbroker, the insurance broker, and like Trump, the real estate broker. So people like Trump, they're attached, right? They're sort of parasites, barnacles on the hull of finance capital and the top level financier oligarchy whom they admire, whom they wish to join, whose values they respect. But in addition, we've also got the gutter snipes, right? You saw this week, Trump was challenged 3 times by old Jake Tapper to repudiate David Duke, a racist, Ku Klux Klan, neo-Confederate, right? The scum of the earth. And Trump wouldn't repudiate the white supremacist, the racist. And again, if you care about Lincoln and the Union, that used to be the big issue in the Republican Party, right? Then this is an absolutely revolting development. Anti-American, anti-national, pro-Confederate. There's nothing worse. Treason and slavery rolled in a ball. So here we have the Washington Post. Trump does not affiliate with the white supremacists who make robocalls on his behalf, but he's got them in his corner, right? The American Freedom Party, they have a nominal candidate, but their main bumper sticker is Stop White Genocide. Can you believe this? They love Trump, right? This is a kind of a flanking operation, a wingman, as we've described it for some other candidates in the past. And others call Trump, quote, the great white hope. So, of course, the KKK in Trump's corner, the Knights Party, the Knights with a K, skinheads, neo-Nazis, the Daily Stormer, Stormfront, KKK Grand Wizard, David Duke. Okay, so that's what you're getting with Trump. Whether you want to mix your vote with the votes of those characters, don't do it. So, gang, Republican establishment, right? Guilty of genocide in Iraq, right? Austerity ghouls, of course. And then Trump with fascists, white supremacists, Ku Klux Klansmen, subversives, all the rest of this stuff. So how should you react to this spectacle, right? Should you join one or the other? No, you should not join either of those two. And on the Democratic side, you're not going to join Hillary. What you're going to do is try to keep Bernie going until you can get to a convention, and then you've got to get through the first ballot, and after that, on the second ballot, other candidates might come in. You can do something better. You can get a better deal. And, of course, it does depend on Hillary being indicted, which we hope will happen. But that's the situation. Let's be great realists. Come back in a second. Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Griffin here in Washington, D.C. It's the 5th of March, right between Super Tuesday and Super Saturday. So if you have a chance to vote, stop Trump, never Trump, any way you want it. And on the Democratic side, you got to hold your nose and vote for Bernie. You got to keep Bernie alive, keep hope alive, because that's the only way to have an open convention. Bernie has got to get enough votes. He's got to be credible enough so that if Hillary gets indicted, which we cannot control, that can be a way out of the Hillary problem. Right? Hillary would become a bigger target of propaganda. Obviously, if she does get the nomination, then you're going to have to lift and shift over to her. But we can't make these kinds of predictions because the situation is totally in flux. What you're seeing is this is a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. to see the Republican Party tear itself into fragments, at least two pieces. Let's actually, we'll talk a little bit about just maybe one or two other important things to bear in mind, right? The Kitson strategy is if you want to dominate a political space, you set up a gang that you control, and you create a counter gang that you control. You control both. And therefore, if you only set up one, then there'll be an opposition, and maybe you won't control that opposition. So this is the thinking. This is Tavistock. This, again, is General Frank Kitson of the British colonialists in Kenya. So you must resist the tendency to choose. What you've got to see is that the gang and the counter-gang are part of a system, and that you've got to avoid it, right? The Italians call this il gioco delle parti. In other words, this idea that a staged or artificial opposition is really, it's fakery, and it's designed to prevent any real change from happening. So again, kick over the game board. Reject the entire thing. Focus on destroying the system. Focus on destroying the Republican Party and then the entire party system, rather than focusing on any candidate. Although you must focus on Trump to the extent that he is the most extreme manifestation of what's going on. And of course, if Trump became president, the United States would dissolve into chaos. Civil war is not too strong a term to use. What would happen if Trump seized power? We'll talk about some of that stuff. You would have a rebellion in the military, and you would have a rebellion in certain geographical areas, I would say. So we'll have to look at this as it goes along. Don't choose the gang. Don't choose the counter gang. Kick over the game board. Now, some other aspects to this. Divide and conquer. Divide and rule. This is the essence of what we would like to see happen. In other words, what is our role, right? The Republicans are destroying themselves. What we can do with limited forces is to catalyze this, to make it go faster by making the process self-conscious to a lot of the people who are involved. In other words, a significant force of people in the society have to be aware that this is what's happening. In other words, that it's a golden opportunity. It's not time to join this candidate or that candidate. It's time to promote the simultaneous downfall of all the figures of the old regime. Their simultaneous downfall and ruin and extinction is our goal. The extinction of a political party. So, divide and conquer. Now, there are other terms that are used for this, right? In good old American, it's let's you and him fight. If you're facing two enemies, you try to play one against the other, and then watch them destroy themselves, but you obviously you're promoting it, right? You're trying to get it so it'll happen. In the terminology of the German sociologist Georg Simmel, Simmel, he calls this the Tertius Gaudens. They're Tertius Gaudens, and I think in German he says, der lachende Dritte. The third party who's laughing while the other two are fighting. In this case, the third party who's laughing is humanity, right? We're getting some surcease. We're getting a break here for once.